Hey everyone, it is Diaperperv, and we got Livewire, and we got Sunflower and Sunflower's daddy back again. And today we are going to talk about etiquette online that transitions into in-person events, and we'll show you how it all comes together. There are in-person ABDL events and little events, right? But how do you find out about them? You find out about them online, right? Like they're posted on FetLife, on A-Disc forums, on other forums, on people's Twitter or Instagram accounts. And so you see them, right? You're aware of the events, and then sometimes you feel the need to like message people beforehand, or you want to message the organizers of the group because you have questions. And sometimes they're not the best messages. So we're gonna talk about messages that we've gotten that may be deemed inappropriate or not great. Is that the word?
Yeah.
And how that could affect you when you go to the events, and how can that affect how people see you when you get to the events. Okay. I know you have a lot to say about it. I have a lot to say. Well, so do you.
I would like to start off with the obvious. Thank you. Which is read the event description. Because if you're asking questions that were clearly listed, that doesn't look good. Especially, I think the biggest one is when we say be discreet because it's a public place. I don't want to get a message about you asking if you can mess yourself at an event. Can you wear a diaper? Yes. Should you be discreet about it? Yes. I'm sorry, that was sassy.
It was honest though.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Wait, have you like smelled anybody's like diaper before?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
Okay, I did not know that.
It wasn't at an event, but there was an event we had at the park where somebody was sitting down on one of the benches,
Yeah.
and they overfilled their diaper, so they leaked on the bench.
Wait, I didn't know this.
Yes, and they were just like hee 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 and ran away, instead of like wiping it up or like putting a napkin over it, or so just something. You
Right,
know?
like you should at least acknowledge it and then like clean it up and then like change the situation, as in change your diapers.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that happened. And it was
Well, you learned something new. That one stuck with me because a few people were kind of upset about it, and I had no words.
Okay.
Because what do you even say to that?
I guess if like him or I were notified, we would say something about it. Like, hey, did you know that you leaked? And now we have to clean it up, or you have to, you know, at least put some like stuff on it or use some wipes on it.
Right.
And also go change.
I probably should have addressed it, but I was just kind of like, I'm too little to deal with this right now, so I'm just going to walk away and pretend it did not happen.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. So what kind of other messages have you gotten that were not quite appropriate or respectful?
When people are demanding things out of an event that they are not hosting themselves, I feel like we've always catered our events to be more of like a potluck situation, where we want everybody to kind of chip in and contribute. So we have our events at a park because it's affordable for what we can do. And we had a lot of people complaining how they wanted it to be at a more private space, but these are the same people that don't want to contribute. So I would say don't put your 2 cents in if you're not going to help make it happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's very, very accurate, because I've had people write me that they want the lunch to be in a hotel suite and felt that we should pay for it.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys can't even contribute when we were in a play dungeon and it was like $10.
Right, like we
And-
did have them in a private space, a fully private space with kink equipment, and the hosts were amazing. And we were just asking for like a very small cover charge to like cover the rental of that. Or even a lesser cover charge if you bring a dish.
Right.
You know, it wasn't.
And people
That
didn't
much.
really want to pay that cover charge, and those were the same people that were demanding that we have it in a private space. So I would say it's okay to chip in ideas if you want to help contribute.
Right.
And if you don't, then keep it to yourself or plan your own event.
Right. Okay. Very, yes. Very well said.
Because then when we see you at these events, we're not as excited to see you because we know what you're here for, and it's not to make it a fun space.
A community.
Sorry, that sounds a little
Community
mean, but
activity.
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
not helping to form that community,
Right.
and you're just there to take, it's not as fun.
Right. I see what you mean. Like some people are there for their own self-serving interests, which
Yes.
might be like, I just want to be in a public space wearing whatever I want. Okay, great. Like we have provided that in the past.
I think that people should, when they write somebody, online etiquette should pretend that person is right in front of them, because you wouldn't say things to a person when they're right in front of you, because that gets you a smack in the mouth, and people talk to you online however they want. I don't really have that problem, to be honest, but I know others do. We all know of one person or two people that write one-word letters to people, and just, it's like the whole blanket effect. If I write 50 ABDL girls, maybe I'll get a response back. And then that person will come to the munch, and I still do not know who that person is, because he's never come up and introduced himself to
Okay,
me.
you're like talking about one specific person.
You can edit it out.
No, I feel
No,
like
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I think that's funny.
Yeah.
So do you think his online persona and how he acts like really reflects who he is in person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's crippling shy.
Oh, okay, I see.
I would like to jump off that one though, like 2 points. One, don't send copy and paste messages, especially if it's one of those messages where it's like, hi, I'm into XYZ and I want this and this done to me and blah blah blah. Like, hello, nice to meet you. That would go a long ways. I feel like on your profile you can put all your interests and what you're looking for, but to just send a generic copy and paste message to everybody, I'm not going to respond to those truthfully.
No, and I don't respond to any of those.
No.
And I guess those aren't even in my peripheral, really, because I just straight out ignore them.
Mine too.
Like I read the first line, and it'll be like, oh, I want a mommy to do this, and this to me. And I read the first line, and I just ignore it and delete it so fast. So I guess I don't even see it.
I don't click on
Yeah.
the message either. You can tell
Yeah.
that first little glimpse that it gives you if it's a copy or paste message.
Right.
And I confronted somebody before. I was like, I'm not going to respond to a copy and paste message. They're like, how could you tell I copied and pasted it? Because it's very generic.
So I guess in the future, what you're going to do is link them to this YouTube video.
And the other thing I would say is don't just send a friend request without saying anything. I personally don't accept them unless I've met you. And that also translates into when you're at these events. When I'm at events, I want to make friends. So if I'm bonding with someone or having a good conversation, I'll ask, hey, what is your name on FetLife and can I add you? And I've always gotten a good response. Everyone's like, yes, of course. But you see how we've made that connection first, and they know who I am when I add them? Like, it kind of puts the face to the username a little bit.
Right.
So you're making that friendship first before just sending out a random friend request. And sometimes I'll get friend requests after munches, but I don't know who they are.
Oh.
Because they don't always have, your identity is not posted online for a reason sometimes.
Yeah.
Which I understand. But if I don't know who you are and you're not going to send a follow-up message like, hey,
Right.
met you at the munch earlier, I'm unfortunately not going to accept that request because I don't know you.
Right. And I tried to have like the name tags so you could put your FetLife name or your
Yes.
Twitter name on it.
Those were nice.
Yeah. So here's one thing I want to say, that you go to munches and you go to events to meet friends, right?
Yes.
Like especially the age play munch,
Mhm.
to meet friends. I feel like a lot of people don't go to these events for that reason. They go for like the sole reason of like wanting to find a partner.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like when you have such large expectations,
Mhm.
you're not going to fulfill them. And then you're also going to miss out on a lot of opportunities because you're so close-minded on finding that one specific thing that you want instead of being open to all the possibilities that can happen there.
Exactly. Like friendships and just being acquaintances, having fun.
And friendships could always turn into relationships later on, but
Yes.
if you're going there with that at your forefront,
Yeah.
you're going to miss out on a lot.
Yes.
So I got a question. It kind of deals with, you know, in real life etiquette and stuff. I'm just kind of curious about Sunflower and her daddy's opinion and your opinion, but how do you feel about alcohol at a munch, like in the park? Because I've had to deal with that before at our munch, and I didn't really care for it. I personally don't think it should be allowed because they're in public, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Right. I mean, legally, it's a public park, and we're not supposed to have open containers there, right?
Right.
But people do sneak them.
You remember the incident I'm talking about, right?
I do not, but I do know at a few play parties I've been to, there was alcohol.
Do you,
And it's different if you're playing and not playing. Like some people might want just like a drink because they're at a social event, but if you're
Right.
playing, there should not be alcohol.
right. But
And luckily in the situations I've been in, if there was alcohol and there was some people drinking, they were mindful of how much it was. Nobody was getting sloshed or like blackout drunk. You couldn't really tell anyone was intoxicated, so.
right.
But at a park or something, no.
But what I mean is, do you remember that time that person was drinking and wouldn't take no, and you came sat next to me? I don't believe that your daddy was there at
I
that.
don't remember that.
Yeah,
I don't remember,
I remember.
this.
I
Yeah.
probably don't want to remember that.
Okay.
Me and baby Donnie and Wayne had to speak to that person and tell him that his
What?
behavior wasn't acceptable. He would not take.
Wait, didn't he bring like a whole cooler of beer?
Yes.
Oh, I do remember that. That guy was very weird though, and at multiple events, because there was a party I went to and he ended up being there, and he touched me non-consensually.
See?
Twice actually. So the host of the party actually had to go have a talk with him.
Oh, I think I know who it is now. Because at first I'm like, as an organizer of the event, why am I not
remember that
like?
Yeah.
But okay, he was a daddy, right? He was daddy presenting.
No, I
right?
think
Oh.
he's used to going to swinger parties.
Oh.
And I think he was just kind of showing up to whoever. Maybe he wanted to be a daddy, but again, that's going into one of those like people that aren't actually a daddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
He really, in my opinion, didn't have any reason to be at a Little's Munch. He didn't really know what we were there for, what we stood for.
Oh.
He was just kind of there. Yeah, he was very creepy.
Oh, okay.
And
I think I
remember
know.
he was talking to some girls and making us uncomfortable, so
Right.
Livewire had to deal with that situation.
Oh, okay. So since we're on this topic now, what kind of in-person behaviors make someone uncomfortable? And I know that is a very like subjective kind of thing. I know for me, if people are persistent about asking about too many like personal details of my life, that makes me uncomfortable right away, and I don't like that. Because it is a kink event, and you know, a lot of people have like a clear separation of like their kink identity and their private life, and they only share details of their private life to people they really trust and are real friends. So right away, if I'm like, I don't want to talk about that, and they keep asking, which there have been people that do that, that makes me very uncomfortable.
Right. And you know what? Same way. Because I had somebody follow me around at the play party type munch that we did, and who was moving down here and was asking me where you lived and asking me where the most ABDLs lived on their part of town. And I said, even if I knew that, I wouldn't violate their trust. Anybody that
Right.
knows me knows how loyal I am, and I just wouldn't do that. And I repeatedly told that person, like, hey, knock off the questions, have a good time, but personal details I'm not going to share.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that invited a whole bunch of drama, but that's another story.
I would say I don't want to be mean because I'm a shy person too, so I totally understand. But there's been, I don't know if it was a few people or maybe just one specifically, where he would kind of sit in on conversations that were being had at the munch, but he wouldn't say hello or anything. He would just like sit there and not talk at all, which is fine if you're too shy to talk, but to not even say hello,
Oh, okay.
I feel like that was a little bit awkward because then online he'll message you, he'll send different things, but I think a hello goes a long way. Like, I personally am very shy, but at these munches I knew it was a safe place.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say hello to everyone. Even if I was too shy to say anything other than hello, at least I said hello.
That's true, you do. I felt
So-
you're so friendly.
Thank
And
you.
so did you try to invite this person into conversation? Like, hey, what's your name?
Yeah, and it was just very, like, you could tell they didn't want to talk, or it was like a one-word answer.
I think
So it got a little awkward.
you're talking about the same person you were talking about.
Probably.
We don't want to bully this person.
No,
Right, no,
no.
we don't.
It's
No.
just, I wish they would open up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I can tell they really want to be part of the community. I just wish they were more open to those interactions.
Yes,
So that way they
yes.
could make the friends that they're hoping to make.
Yes.
Because it's kind of sad when you see someone so closed off.
Yeah,
But obviously
that's
they
true.
came to a social setting, so like I said, just a simple hello goes a long way.
That's true. And I have dealt with people who are very shy, especially at their first event, but then they tell me. They'll like pull me aside or I'll see them and I'll have a one-on-one with them and they'll be honest and say, hey, I have a lot of social anxiety. I just need to just sit here and absorb everything for a while. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I'm at an understanding of what's happening. That, we can't just all bombard them. And, if I see something that, I know someone that has something in common with this person, then I can go and introduce them to them.
And I feel like I also kind of observe those things as well.
Mhm.
If I can tell someone's really shy or scared, or they seem like they're getting left out a little bit, maybe because again they don't know how to approach it or join in, I always like to step aside and just say hello and introduce them and
Yeah.
try to pull them out of their shell a little bit, because I understand as well. I don't
Yeah.
want anyone to feel left out.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I try, because I've been there when I'm really shy. But when I'm little, I just want to skip around and say hello to everyone.
That's how you get around your shyness.
I do. I really just skip around. I'll say, hello, how are you? And they're like, good. And I'm like, okay, cool, nice to meet you. And then I just skip away. And I don't mean to. I'm just so shy, but I wanted to at least say hello. And I feel like the biggest thing is say hello immediately. Because once you're sitting there, around for a while, I think the longer you sit there in silence and awkwardness, the harder it is
Yes.
to come out of that shell.
That's true.
So just say hello and get it over with, and then you already have that open door.
That's a really great tip.
That's what I
Yeah,
had.
that's
I had to force myself to come out of my shell. So that's my biggest tip, I would say.
I feel like
Just get
all
the
of
hello
us-
over with.
Yeah, all of us have had to do that at some point or another.
Unless you're not shy.
Okay, Livewire.
Like you.
Not everyone can be as lovely.
Extrovert. I'm too busy at the grill or something. I'm just kidding.
But even that brings conversation.
It
That's
does.
true.
It does.
Like what I
Sharing
did-
recipes. There's always something that you can share. It doesn't have to be centered on kink, because nobody's doing kink 24/7. You can talk about hobbies. You can talk about the game you're playing. You can talk about the weather, the
Anything.
beautiful pond, whatever.
Yeah.
Or I think just because, we mainly do potluck style, bringing something fun to share. I made these really fun monster cookies for a Halloween munch because I thought it would make people happy. Or for Easter, I made cute little goodie bags for people, and I wrote a little happy Easter card, and I signed all of them with my name on it because I was hoping I would make some friends out of it.
Yeah.
Like maybe that was a little selfish, but I was hoping somebody would like just add me on FetLife and I could make a little friend.
Aww.
And out of 70 goodie bags, I only got one message.
What?
And it wasn't even from the little. It was just like, hi, I gave your goodie bag to my little, and they really liked it. I was like, well, can I be their friend? But I just having something like that would start open conversations. So
Yeah.
I remember somebody brought like this. It was like a dried squid snack, but it was interesting because then everybody wanted to try it.
Yes,
and
I
it brought
remember
people
that.
together just because it was something interesting and new.
I remember.
So just
that.
bring something to share, I would say.
Yeah,
It opens doors too.
I love that.
If you're too shy, that could be your conversation starter.
Yeah, we have people that bring games and magic tricks, and they share
really
a part
fun
of
games.
themselves that's unique about them, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's unique in their own way. And, you know, when somebody's doing magic tricks, that can really break the ice. And then there's games going on, and coloring, and Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
Right? And wasn't there an Easter egg hunt?
Oh
and all that
yeah,
stuff?
oh yeah,
That was
yeah,
so fun.
yeah. That was fun. Oh, you know what we should do? We should do like a big group circle, and then everyone introduces themselves and like says something about themselves.
Yeah, we could start doing activities like that.
Yeah, like icebreaker games. Oh, I think you got a message from someone before the last event here, and this person just like overshared with you.
That happens
Right.
quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
So let me try to think of which one it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Maybe
Oh.
not do that. 'cause-
Yeah, I had someone, they were completely oversharing. I don't want it to be too specific because they'll probably know who I'm talking about. Well, the person themselves will know. But they were like, yeah, I'm going to bring a friend who's not into ABDL. They're coming with me, like a vanilla friend. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then they just went in and told me a whole bunch of stuff about this person that was personal. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pretend that you did not tell me all this information about them because they clearly did not want this shared, which they acknowledged that, hey, they probably don't want me sharing this information. So I said, out of respect to them, I'm going to pretend I don't know this, but I think you really should keep their information private.
Yeah.
And not share like that, because that's really rude. I wouldn't want anyone to do that to me.
Yes, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be messaging people.
Don't message details about someone else that did not consent to have that information shared.
Also, do you guys get messages that are like just too overtly sexual right away, or not really?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of the time, but again, those are typically like copied and pasted messages,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah,
So,
I don't read those. I just delete them.
Immediate ignore.
Yep.
I don't get any good messages like that.
I think that's messy.
How lucky are we, Perv?
Quick, send them messages.
Right.
Right.
Send them like
Copy and
creepy
paste.
sexual messages,
No,
please.
A good thing about etiquette is you can write the host and find out how you can help. Not all help means bringing a potluck dish to share. Could be a games, could be help setting up the tent for you know what, and just things like that. Even cleanup and all that stuff.
Yes.
You know.
True that.
Because sometimes we're carrying in supplies and we're getting there earlier than everybody else, and we need a little help.
Or
and
cleanup.
so making yourself available goes a long way. It's like I said, the drinking bothered me because the person wasn't taking the word no thank you to heart. And then me and, Mystery and Baby Donnie had to pull this person aside and speak to him and say, hey, this is not okay when somebody says to you that they're not interested and no thank you, and they've done it in the most polite way. And now you're making them feel unsafe.
Okay.
It's not cool.
So learning how to hear no and what a no looks like or sounds like and respecting that. I feel like that sometimes is an issue for a lot of people.
Right.
Because
we take that seriously, because everybody that comes there deserves to be safe and in a comfortable spot. And if it didn't happen for somebody, I take that to heart. Like I failed them.
Wow. Okay.
And so, I might seem standoffish or something like that, but I'm watching to make sure everybody's okay.
Right.
Right. And for the most part, everybody is on pretty good behavior and they're having a good time. We've had awesome compliments. We've had people cry coming there because they were so happy.
Really?
Yes.
Where am I? Like, you're talking about all this stuff
That
that's
was the
happening
one-
around me.
That was
and
the
I'm
one
like,
that you couldn't be there, and we
Oh,
had
okay.
a lovely couple from Phoenix that were so happy to be there amongst others.
oh, okay.
I know I've cried before. Like, I wrote a whole little post on my FetLife. Like, it was after a few munches, but I'm like, I'm so grateful for the community we formed and the friends I've made, and it was really touching because, you know, someone who was a closeted little for a while, being able to come out of that shell and have that community, it really is so touching. It does make you cry a little.
Oh, that's sweet.
I would
Okay.
also say that being polite is not an invitation, because just because you're nice about saying no does not mean that you can keep going and like harassing. I feel like, because I get a little awkward and shy, so I might have like an awkward laugh or giggle, but that doesn't mean that I want you to keep going. It's not a pleasant laugh. It's not an inviting laugh. It's like, hey, please leave me alone.
Okay.
And just because I'm smiling doesn't mean I want it. So.
Yeah. So only a yes
An enthusiastic
means yes.
If someone is saying no, especially about like a kink or something, don't push it on them. Because I've had somebody messaging me about diapers and I wasn't really into it. And I said, no, I don't wear. And then they kept asking me, so what are your favorite diapers? I've already told you I don't really wear. Okay, so when are you going to wear next? Do you go one or two?
What?
Just like asking a whole bunch of questions. And I'm like, okay, for the third time, I don't wear, so I do not know. And it just like kept going, and eventually I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stop responding now.
Yes, because you don't owe them anything. You don't owe anybody a response.
Right.
Like,
People got to learn boundaries, and they got to respect boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't wear, huh?
Today we are. Today we are trying.
But that's a whole other video.
The candy corn's on the way.
And that's different. So at the time, if I say no, don't keep pushing. Because then it feels like, you know, we're having this conversation. I'm trying to be nice and trying to be a potential friend. But clearly you're not listening to anything I say. And you don't care. You just want it to fit your narrative of what you want.
Exactly.
And because it's not fitting your narrative, you can't live with that, I guess.
No.
So you're going to keep pushing.
Yep.
Then I'm sorry you lost a potential friend.
Yeah.
I tried.
Wow. You're so, like, optimistic because you see everybody as a potential friend.
I feel like once or twice, like maybe you just forgot, maybe you're messaging other people too and you just forgot. But if I have to tell you 3 or 4 times, then that means you just don't care.
Exactly.
So,
and you're not listening.
I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
I get these messages a lot where I share like pictures of my private life, right? And they think that, oh, because I'm a guy in diapers and she must like me and want to do the same things that I do with my partners with me. And it's like, no, I don't. And no, you don't have a chance, so please stop. Like, I don't care what you fantasize about when you look at the pictures I post or whatever, that's fine. Just, you don't need to tell me about it. Or say, or, you know, talk about us doing stuff in the future, because that's not going to happen.
Right, I just got a creepy comment last night because I posted, you know, a cute little bubble bath picture.
Yeah.
And somebody commented like, oh, I would love to give you a massage and a happy ending, or like pleasure you after your bath or something gross like that.
Yeah.
And normally I would just block or something, but I was like, no, that's my daddy's job. Like, back up, stay in your lane.
Right.
That sucks, because that was a really, really cute picture, and
like,
somebody
don't
could have just
project your fantasies.
left a nice comment.
I think they're so used to it on, you know, if we're talking in particular about FET, they're so used to having these over-sexualized pictures and comments and stuff. It's like a free-for-all kind of, and then when it comes to certain things, they just don't have a pause button or a break.
No filter.
Yeah.
Well, it's
They think like all advances are just
it's the
welcome.
anonymous of the internet, because if they said that to you face to face, you know, you punch them in the jaw.
Right.
You know?
If you're hoping to transition your online presence into in real life friends, don't pretend that it just doesn't matter what you say because you're behind a screen.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
like Livewire said, if you won't say it in person, don't say it online, because otherwise you're not going to have those friends that you were hoping to have because all they see was your online presence where you're being a creeper.
So do you think they say these things online because they never plan to go to an event? So they're like, I could just say whatever.
I think so.
It's actually, they're just wishful thinking. I had one person admit, he said, oh, well, I send the same message to everybody, and if I send it to 50 people, I might get 1 or 2 yeses, and that's
Right.
enough for me to keep sending it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're
Okay.
just throwing it out there and
Okay.
seeing who bites.
Okay. Well,
No effort.
yeah. Yeah. I just ignore them. Like, to me, they're just things in the background that's to
I
be
feel like
ignored.
you could have had more yeses if you were more authentic and kind.
Yeah.
But if you would rather just spam a whole bunch of people and see what sticks, then okay. That's a waste of time, I feel like.
I don't think that's necessarily a kink thing, because I know people do that in, like, regular dating sites, too. Yeah.
100%.
Pretty good video, pretty good advice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it was just us, like, ranting about stuff.
seriously.
But we got to get it out, right?
Right.
It's important. And I hope you watching this learned something. And if you've done these things before, maybe it'll help change your tune. And if someone sent you this link to this video, there's a reason for that. I'm going to tickle your feet, but you're not ticklish.